Shalom Aleichem, everybody. Wonderful to get together again with everybody. This week's Parsha, Parsha's Behaloischa, starts off with the mitzvah to light the Menorah in the Beis HaMikdash. And we called tonight's shmooze the Menorah in the Beis HaMikdash that lit up the world. So I wanted to take some time to bring out some of the great things about the Menorah, what it accomplished at the time of the Beis HaMikdash and how much we're missing it today. The Menorah was made with 7 lights that the Kohen lit in Beis HaMikdash every day before Shkias HaChama, before the sun went down, even on Shabbos. Light Menorah is Deicha Shabbos, 7 days a week, every day of the year. Yom Kippur included, he lit the Menorah before sundown. And the Menorah was made out of gold, and it had 7 lights. 1 in the middle was outstanding, and 3 on each side of that middle ner. 3 on one side, 3 on the other side. And everything that the Kohen did in the Beis HaMikdash had an effect on the world. That means when it lit the Menorah, it was light at the Menorah itself, but it was a light over the whole world, was enjoying the light the Menorah brought to the world. I'm not talking about light of the sunlight or dawn or something. I'm talking about a holy light, a spiritual light that brought to the world, a light of Torah. Torah is called Oorah, Torah Oorah. And by lighting that Menorah, he brought the Oorah of Torah, the light of Torah, into the world. People learning Torah would be able to understand better what they're learning, and Hashem would shine into the world a great ruchnius, great spirituality for people to have an aliyah, to bring them higher, closer to Hashem. So what did these lights represent? These lights, 3 on one side, 3 on the other side, facing the middle light. Now, the middle light was the one giving inspiration to the 3 on the right side and the 3 on the left side, and they all faced the Menorah at the middle. And there are many different ideas that are included in this, a number of 7, 3, and 1. The most simple one and basic one is that we know that the Torah is divided into 2 things. It's Torah shebiksav, Torah sheba'al peh. We have the written law, the 5 books as Moses they call it, the 5 Bereshis, Shmois, Vayikra, and Bamid Dvorim, that was written down in the Midbar, and we have those same 5 books, the same words, the same way they were written over 3,000 years ago in Har Sinai, and they are written in the Sefer Torah that we lay in every Shabbos, during the week. We lay a Sefer Torah that includes those five books, and that is written down exactly the way they're supposed to be written from the time of Sinai. Then we have Torah sheba'al peh. Torah sheba'al peh, that the oral law that explains the written law. Without the oral law, we wouldn't understand the written law at all, because the written law is very short and concise, and not explaining exactly what the words are, what they mean, what they represent. If Torah says we should make tzitzis, well, what are tzitzis on our clothing? We don't know what it means, tzitzis. We should put on tefillin. What are tefillin? Make a sukkah. What's a sukkah? Matzah. What's matzah? So we have the written law telling us all these laws, but we don't know how to fulfill them, how to do them. So we must have the oral law to tell us how to perform these mitzvahs. And the written law we know is exactly how many words, how many letters in the Torah. The oral law is without limit, because understanding it and explaining it and discussing it, that's what the oral law is. Oral means it was spoken. and it was not allowed to be written down, as a matter of fact. It was given from generation to generation, from Rebbe to Talmud, and it was given over for many years that way, explaining the written law. Later on, the Rebbe, great Rebbe, Rabbi wrote down the Mishnah, and because the Jews were in exile, didn't have time to learn the Torah like they should. They were persecuted and into Golus all over the world. So naturally, to study the Oorah law like it should be, you have to have a lot of time and patience and be able to have peace and quiet in order to study it and understand it. And they did it for many years, but it came to a point where they had to change the way of learning. They had to write it down in order not to forget it, because otherwise it was impossible for them to understand the written law like it should be. So therefore, Rabbi Chaim wrote down the Oorah law, and he made 6 portions of it. The Mishnah, he wrote it in a very short fashion, and has 6 parts to it, explaining the written law. So we have, those are the 3 and 3. We have the middle one with the big light, which it represents the Torah Shebeksav, the written law. We have the 3 and the 3, 6 on facing the middle one, which is explaining. It's getting its influence from the middle one. That was the basic law of the Torah, and from there came out the explanation, and divided the 6 parts to understand the written law. And the 6 parts were called Zerayim, mainly talking about the laws of agriculture in Eretz Yisrael, and about giving tithing and truma and bikurim and all the laws of the land and growing things. And the Moyed, the section, the part of the Mishnah dealing with the holidays of Pesach and Sukkot and so on. And we have the 3rd one, Noshim, dealing between men and women, about marriage and divorce and obligations of a husband to a wife. So we have, that's number, so that's Noshim. That's the 3rd section. And then we have Nezikin, talk the certain monetary laws between the man and man, between borrowing and lending and damaging and all laws pertaining to monetary matters. And then we have, after that, we have Zika and Kochim, all the laws pertaining to sacrifices in the Holy Temple and the laws of the temple. And then we have the 6th one of Taharas, dealing with the laws of Tahara, of purity, and Tuma, which is laws of purity, of things that become Tomei, spiritual, unclean. And that's a very deep study. So we have those 6 that we have, the 3 and the 3 facing the middle one. So we have the main light, candle, Ner, in the middle, and we have the 3 and the 3 representing the written law in the middle, which all the other Oorah law, the 6 portions, they're dealing with all the mitzvahs, laws of the Torah, from the 2 sides, 3 and the 3, 6 portions of the Mishnah that Rebbe wrote down the Oorah law, explained the written law. So when the Kohen would light that menorah every day, he would bring down to the world great lights. Every mitzvah in the Torah brings down a great spiritual light from Shemayim, from heaven. When he lit those candles, he brought down the great spiritual lights to the world. That is one idea of the menorah. The one in the middle, the main one, and the 3, one side, 3 on the other side. Another idea over here is that the 3 and 3 represent the Jewish people. The 3 represent Jewish people who are people of the Torah. We live by the Torah, we study the Torah, we do the mitzvahs of the Torah. We have men, women, and children on one side. Facing the middle candle, middle light of the menorah, that they are learning and studying and getting the proper feeling, ideas, and way to live from the Torah. The middle one represents the Torah of the 5 books, and we learn from that. All the whole nation of Israel, men, women, and children, are learning from the Torah how to live and how to live their lives and how to perform the mitzvahs. And the other side is the Kohanim, Leviim, Israelim, 3 parts of the Jewish people. The Kohanim, they have to learn Torah, their laws that they have. We said before, one of the 6 portions of the Mishnah is dealing with the laws of the Holy Temple, the Kabbonis, sacrifices, and things that went on in the Holy Temple. The Kohanim have to study Torah in order to know how to perform and all the mitzvahs that they have to do in the temple. And Leviim, Israelim, so we're all included in that 3 and 3 towards the middle. Every Jewish person, whether a man, woman, or a child, whether it's Kohen, Levi, or Yisrael, we're all being taught by the laws of the Torah. And by the Kohen lighting that menorah every day, he gave an easier way. Light would shine down from heaven to the earth with the light of the Torah, and it would light up people studying Torah. Would be able to understand the depth and the breadth of the great Torah that we have. That was not just an action in the Holy Temple in itself, but it had a great influence on the whole world, on the whole Jewish nation and the whole world. Another thing we have to realize, that the 7 lights represent the 7 great tzaddikim that the world was based on. The 5 tzaddikim, Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, and Yosef, Moshe, and Aaron and David. So we have the big patriarchs, and also the wives of those great people. That they were together with the fathers of the nation. They're the mothers of the nation. Sarah with Avram, Rivka with Yitzchak, and Rachel and Leah with Rachel, with Yaakov, Tzipporah with Moshe, and Elishah with Aaron, and Elishah with Bathsheba with David HaMelech. So they all had great couples of the world, which they represented God's presence in the world. And each one of them had a special thing about them that they worked on, that they brought out into the world. They had a special shlichus, special mission in the world to bring out the special talents that they had. Avraham Avinu was known for his chesed, right? Avraham Avinu was a person of kindness, and he went bent over backwards to kindness to people, with all the stories of Avraham Avinu, that he did so many good things, actions, people who came to him and got physical assistance and spiritual assistance and emotional assistance from Avraham Avinu, from his chesed. And by lighting that menorah, it represented the chesed of Avraham Avinu. And then we have Yitzchak, which he was the son of Avram, and he represented the sacrifice. He was willing to put himself, be sacrificed on the altar to be slaughtered in the name of Hashem. Avram, it was a test to see if Yitzchak would go through with it, which they came through flying colors. Hashem told Avram to bring his son to sacrifice, right at the time that we're going through with it, took the knife to slaughter him. He said, no, stop, it was only a test, keep him alive. So Yitzchak been put into our genes, just like Avram put into our genes of chesed. The Jewish people are a nation of chesed. People make statistics of how much charity Jews give, opposed to the charity of the world. It's a ridiculous comparison. Jewish people give so much money for charity, way more than all those nations put together. They put so much charity they have. And also the Jewish people are there to give their life. They got their genes from Yitzchak, who gave his life, was willing to give his life for Hashem, even though it didn't come out to be that way, but he's ready to do it. Hashem stopped him at the last minute. That's where we got our guts in ourselves to stand up to all our enemies who try to get us to go against the Torah and they threaten us with our lives. How many Jews lost their life because they would not give in to the people who try to make us go against the Torah. So Yitzchak is the one who put into our genes that power of standing up for what's right, even if it might mean the person to give their life for it. And Yaakov Avinu, that's the third of the patriarchs of Avinu, Jacob, that he was a servant of Hashem. One of his outstanding things was that he was very engrossed in studying Torah. And many years he went to the yeshiva, Shem Be'ever, and he studied Torah day and night and put into our genes that the power that Jewish people study Torah day and night. If you go to a Jewish yeshiva where they study Torah, almost around the clock, you'll find people studying Torah from early in the morning till late at night, after midnight, before daybreak. People studying Torah, and that was originally done by Yaakov Avinu, the third one, lit up, and Menorah was representing the light of Yaakov Avinu. And then we had Yosef, a tzaddik, Joseph, who put into our genes, into the Jewish nation, the power to stand up to challenges. He was challenged by the wife, Isha Potiphar, who tried to get him to sin with her, and she went beyond imagination how she got threatened to sin, but she was not successful. He would not give in to her, and even though he was put in jail because of it, and she made a whole story against him, but he would not succumb to the pressure. And he put it to our genes to stand up to it. So even though sometimes we have a challenge, simply impossible. How can I stand up to this challenge? It's so difficult, so hard to make the fast and the kippur. It's so hard to keep Shabbos. It's so hard to watch how I speak and not to speak gossip. We all have our challenges, but Yosef put it to our genes. No, we could. If we really want to, Hashem will help us, and we'll be able to come through and stand up to the challenges. That was the fourth light. And then after that, we had Moshe Rabbeinu, that we all know about him, that he brought down the Torah Mount from Mount Sinai to taught the Jewish people the Torah, the 5 books, the written law, the Oorah law. It all came from Moshe Rabbeinu, who was 40 days and 40 nights. He stayed at Mount Sinai 3 times in order to study Torah, bring it down to the Jewish nation, that he put into our genes to study the depths of Torah and the secrets of the Torah. People on that level, and we have Aaron HaKohen, his brother, the one who took care of the holy temple in the desert, the Mishkan, the portable tabernacle, the portable Beis Hamikdash, that he was in charge, bringing all the sacrifices and doing all the service in the holy temple that were done. He was the first of Kohen to do that. His children afterwards took over for him. And this is one of the ways that Hashem comes down into the world, through the holy temple, through the service in the holy temple, that Aaron HaKohen was the first one to serve in the holy temple, and all his children afterwards took in his place, and they served in the temple to bring down the Shekhinah, bring the Hashem down to this world. And the final one, David HaMelech, the King David, who was the person who took all of those people before him, and he made the Jewish nation into a land of Israel. They were there. He was the first king that was that lasted. One king before him, but didn't last. But he was a king that was so close to Hashem. The one who wrote the Psalms of David, as we know, who was such a lover of Hashem, and he brought Hashem into the world. He made a land of Israel with a whole government, with a Sanhedrin, he formed the whole nation of the land of Israel. That he's the one who stood it up to be the great nation that it was. That was later was destroyed by our enemies, but there was in the world is recognized as the greatest nation. And David HaMelech is the one who brought all these things before him: kindness of Avram, and sacrifice of Yitzchak, and Torah of Yaakov, and the standing up to challenges of Yosef, and Torah of Moshe Rabbeinu, and the Beis Hamikdash that brought down the Shechina, and he put them all into practice. So the seven of these great people are represented by the Menorah, and I would say that David HaMelech was one in the middle because he's the one who put them all together. He made the nation, and he put all these great lofty ideas and actions that were before him, and he took them and made them into a nation and with kings and a whole form of government, with the Torah being the one that he built it around Torah, the whole nation that he built up. So a great nation that it was, but it was all because of based on the Torah and that David HaMelech. So all of them were looked up to him, so to speak. That everybody contributed. Avram contributed. Israel contributed. Everything was a contributor from the six, but they realized that David HaMelech, that he's the one who put it into action and make a whole nation out of it, and forming a whole government and a whole way of life for the Jewish people. So that was another very important idea of the Menorah, of the seven lights, the seven great tzaddikim who lit up the world with their greatness, and changed the world, and from people that were very unorganized and very not living the way they should. But the people were barbaric until the time that the tzaddikim came and taught the world how to live. There's a God in the world, and how we should, even the non-Jews, learn from these great people. So these are the lights that were lit every day in the Beis Hamikdash, representing these great people with their great actions and ideas that the Jewish people followed for then and until this time. And when he lit the Menorah, he brought down into the world these great attributes, these great actions, ideas. Through the light of the Menorah, he lit up the heavenly Menorah, which shined down into this world and gave us all the great ideas and actions of kindness and all the great things that we mentioned before of these great people. So he was the one that put it into action. So when we read this Shabbos, we'll be in Shul and we'll hear the reading of the Torah, and it starts off with this mitzvah of the Menorah. We have to think about ourselves. Are we living up to our ancestors, what they lived for, what they strived for, what they lived for, what they died for? And are we living up to how they lived, how they wanted us to follow their footsteps? And Hashem certainly gave us the Torah for us to learn all these things and to perform all these mitzvahs. So this is something that we should take very seriously when we're studying the Torah and we're listening to Torah on Shabbos.